2012, we had one of the heat flood in Nigeria. Kogi State was the worst hit. 10 years down the line, nothing has happened. Do you think we're serious people?
Well, we're serious people who are bereft of a serious government. Because there is no one who will have been impacted by the flood who would not want to expunge he or himself from the impact of such flood. So we are in large part a serious people, but with a gifting of irresponsible government and governance.
Now, after the destruction, which we have not gotten out of it, the worst hit 2022, virtually 9 local government was hit. The entire Ibaji wiped off or submerged. What do you think is the short, medium, and long-term solution?
Well, I'm not a hydrologist or a meteorologist, but having been impacted by directly or indirectly by the floods, one can use common management thinking to recommend the short, medium, and far-reaching, approach to solving the menace. Number one, I think it is high time we begin to ask what has happened to the ecological funds that have been voted across all tiers of government from 2001. I hear those funds run into trillions, of naira. So some people must be held to account as a short measure. Secondly, I think for those who have been, imminently and adversely affected by the flood, there should be short-term reliefs in terms of, housing. I'm not talking about putting them in camps like animals, housing, feeding. And at the insurance level, for those who have taken loans, to bolster their agricultural, riches, the government should either write off those loans or the insurance company should take those losses, so that they are not affected perennially on the short term. And in the meantime, medium term, medium to long term, because one thing with the long term is that it is the medium term that serves the knock-on effect on the long term, is for us to find out the sources and the causes of these floods, and mitigate them at the source. I will tell you for free that most of the floods we have in Kogi State particularly are anthropogenic floods. What that means is that they are floods that have been caused by human action or human inaction. So where human action causes those floods, we should mitigate those actions. Where human inaction in terms of governance are responsible for them, we should actually set to action so that these floods are actually mitigated, either by building of dikes, channels, or dams on the medium to long term.
All right. What do you expect, or what is expected of the National Assembly to do to stop this? Maybe to checkmate or enforce the executive to do all of this?
Well, the main work of any legislator at the national, state, or local government level are actually two. One, to make laws, which are in large part transmutations from bills, and two, to exercise oversight or override when need be. So what the legislature should do, first and foremost, is to understand the situation around, one, global warming, around the typology of our kinds of floods, and make informed recommendations based on research, and then pass laws through bills, to ensure that this situation is nipped in the bud. I will expect by now the National Assembly should have instituted a research to find out. There are a lot of hydrologists around. A lot of research has been done, especially with regards to the flood, the gully erosion-induced floods in the Ampa axis, and of course the topographical floods you have in the Ibaji axis. So there are research documents that have been made. Those things can be dusted up, updated, and on the basis of them, bills proposed and hopefully passed into laws, so that we can begin to look at how we can have dikes, channels, or dams to mitigate the impacts of these floods. The second aspect of it is the aspect of oversight or override. What does that mean? If you have an executive that's not living up to their responsibilities, you call them to action. The work of a senator or House of Rep members is to hold the government to account, and that is actually called oversight. And when you discover that government is not doing what they should do, you override them. So I think they should use the instrumentality of their office, particularly making of laws, oversight or override, to live up to their responsibilities, and I think we'll be home and dry.
Lastly, the people, majority of the people right now, especially those in Ibaji, because most of the graves have exhumed. Now, we're expecting any moment from now. People are dying. People are sick. Please use this platform to call on the people, government, NGOs to support the people of Ibaji right now?
Well, I will just add my voice to a plethora of voices that are out there. But for a government that saw this coming and didn't do anything, I wonder what my voice will amount to. So my call will actually be more to the international community, who can actually come in and take the place of government to do something that is worthwhile. Because any moment from now, you expect diseases, But there's another major disease, disease that will come, starvation from hunger. Mind you, we've had a lot of impact of the insecurity in the country based on, kidnapping, herdsmen, banditry activities. Now, you are going to have food insecurity. 40,000 acres of land have been washed away. Over 90 million homes, over 1 million homes have been submerged, and over 600 people have gone to early graves. But this was under the watchful eyes of the government. So I wonder what that call to government will do. It may amount to beating a dead horse. I would rather speak to the international community to come to our aid because we truly need help. Let me conclude by telling you that just last week, COPA 27 approved $1 billion, to checkmate the incidence of global warming. If Nigerians are wise, we should actually look into that funds and see how much can come to Nigeria so that we can begin, to avoid, rather than prevent, rather than curing what is ordinarily preventable.
Thank you very much.